Hi, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on the Tilda with Blue Blanket card kit. Isn't she super cute? I will put a link in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. Don't forget, card kits are limited, so if you want one, head over and grab one up before it's all gone. I'd love to have you come shopping with me. If you like the video, hit the like button so I know to make more. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and do that so you get an update every time I upload a new video. Also, if you have a question, leave me a comment and I'm happy to answer that. I will get back to you on it. So I've already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by giving our image a quick outline with C0. I'm going to start right down here at the bottom and just do a quick clear around. I'm going to do the insider legs here first so I don't forget about it. And then I'm going to start over here, just go all the way around my girl so it looks like she is popping up just a little bit. And also right here between her hand and her leg is a little space of background. I'm going to color that in while I'm going by, otherwise I'll forget all about it. And we're going to work our way up here, and a few of her hair and her pigtail there has a little bit of space, so make sure to grab in there. I'm just going to go all the way down. Back up here, and you can make your line as thick or as skinny as you want. I just don't really worry about it. I just kind of go all the way around. And I like to do it first so in case I get some on my girl and I want to erase it, I can do that without erasing any of my other colors. Let's give her something to stand on with W2, W1, and W0. I'm going to start with my W2. And I'm going to go just up. I don't want my line to go straight across, so I'm going to go up just a little bit onto her blanket here, and then come across the bottom of her foot. Same within here. I'm going to do a little dab there in the inside. And then I'm going to grab W1. And just soften that edge just a little bit. And then I'm going to finish it with W0 on the outside. And then I like to go back with my darkest shade, which was W2, and add a little bit more of my shadow back in because I smoothed it out too much and I like it to be a little bit darker. Let's work on our skin next. For that, I'm going to use E11, E21, E00, E50. And for cheeks today, I'm going to use R20 and R00. So kind of mixing it up there a little bit, trying something new. So I'm going to start with my E11, and let's start over here on this leg. And I'm going to give it a little dab underneath the ruffle of her shirt or her dress. And we're going to go to the inside of her leg. And then she's got her kneecap right here. I'm going to go underneath that. And I'm going to do a little dab right next. I'm going to try to use just the tip of my pen and do a little dab right next to this blanket. And then as long as we're over here, let's go ahead and do her finger, since there's not much space there. And then again, another little dab underneath of that ruffle. Next, I'm going to grab E21, and I want to touch down on top of my E11 and pull out just a little bit. And just soften that edge, just a tiny dab. Same for up here. And then I'm going to go with E00. And there's not much left on her hand, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that all the way in. And down here we'll fill in a little bit more on our leg. I'm going to fill in this bottom portion. And I'm going to take my E50 and I'm going to go clear across. Same for her hand. Even though I already colored it, I want to add a little bit of this yellow tone to that. Okay, then I grab E11 again, and let's do this other leg. So again, let's go underneath of her ruffle, down the inside of her leg, and I'm going to go across the little ruffles of her shoe. And then again, here she's got her little kneecap. I want to go underneath that. Then we're going to soften it with E21. And then E00. And bring a little bit of this up the inside here so that'll darken out a little bit. And then go over the entire thing with E50. And again, I'm going to start with E11. Let's go up here and do her hand. So for her hand, I'm going to go along the bottom of her thumb. I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit. I'm going to bring my thumb inside there just a tad with a line. And go next to her shirt. Then I'm going to go with E21. E00. And then E50 across the entire thing. And for her face, we're going to start again with E11. And we're going to go clear across her bangs. And then I'm going to bring my pen down here and come up to her hand. And I'm going to try to do a little bit close to her hand. And then up here, where her bangs don't cover her forehead, I'm going to flick a little bit of this color up in there. And I'm going to go with E21. Turn my girl a little bit here. So I want to soften that edge, so I'm going to go right along the edge of that line of my E11. And then I want to bring this color down to connect with the other side. Let's go with E00 next. We touch down on top of our previous colors and pull that color into the inside. And I think I'll bring this a little bit up here into her bangs. And I'm not worried that I get a little bit on her hair because I'm going to color her hair brown, and so I won't even see that. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of my E50. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white in the center of her face because I'm going to go over this again after I put down her cheek color. So let's start with R20 for her cheeks. And I use these little dots here as my guide. And then I soften the edge with R00. And I'm going to grab, let me turn my girl here, I'm going to grab E21. I'm just going to brush a little bit along the edge here. And then I'm going to go with E00. Go over that cheek. Soften some of these edges. I'll do the same on this side. And then I'll take my E50 and go clear across, this time covering up that little white space. For her hair, I'm going to use, for her hair and her boots, we're going to use E47, E44, E43, E42, and E41. I'm going to start with my E44 first. And let's start up here at the pigtail. And we're going to add a little bit of this color and flick it away from that bow. And I also want to go from this side. I want to go up from the bottom. And she's got a little bit of her hair showing between her bow right here, so I'm going to give that a little dab of color. And then let's work at the crown of her head. So I'm just going to flick some color coming down away from that bow. And let's do it right here. And I also want to do this side. And then we want to do the bangs down here. And then again up here by the bow, she's got a little bit of pad of hair showing right there in the center. Grab that. And then away from the top of this bow. And then again up from the bottom a little bit. Next I'm going to grab E43. Let's start right back over here on this bow. And we're just going to add some more color. I'm going to fill in right up here at the top. And just work our way around to the other side. Next is E42. So again, we're just adding some more color. So I touch down on top of my last color. And then E41 to fill it in. You can also leave some white streaks in there if you like that. And then I'm going to finish it off with my darkest shade, which was E47. And I just want to add a little bit of that. And I'm going to try to hold my pen more upright so I get some more like lines. And just work your way around to the other side. And I think I'll actually go with my E44 and just do a little bit of that too. Just to add a little bit, a few more lines. It was looking a little too drastic there for me. Soften it just a little bit. Let's hop down here and do her shoes. So for that I'm going to start with E47 and I'm going to add a little bit of color along the edge. I'm going to exaggerate a couple of those little lines right there. And then same for her sole. I'm going to bring this line over just a little bit. And then let's go a little bit by the edge of this blanket. And let's do a little dab right here to bring her sole. Looks like give it a little line right there. And I'm actually going to go a little tiny dab underneath of this little lip there. Next I'm going to grab E44. I'm just going to soften that edge. And then E43 to fill in the boot part, the body of the boot. And then for the center, I'm going to use E42. I do a little dab of that right next to the blanket. And then I'm going to fill that in with E41. And then we'll do the same for the other boots. So we're going to again start with E47. I'm going to go down just on the edge. And again, I'm going to exaggerate some of those little wrinkles that are on there. Give it a little bit of a sole. And I'm going to do this one's got a little bit where the back of her boot's showing, so I'm going to fill that in. Next is E44. Let's work our way back around. And then we're going to take E43 to fill in the body of the boot. And then E42 for the inside. And E41 to go all the way across. Now let's go up here and work on this hair bows and the sleeves on her dress and this little accent underneath the shirt here. For that, we're going to use BG 13, 11, and 10. I'm going to start with my BG 13. Let's go up here and do the hair bows first. So I'm going to give a little bit of color to that knot, and then the center of each of these cute little bows. Same for this side. Let's get the knot, and then flick a little bit of color out away from that knot. Then I'm going to grab BG 11. And then BG 10 to fill those bows in. Like that. And then it looks like right here I missed a little bit of her neck, so let me grab E21 and just fill that in. I missed it. Take care of that. And then let's go down here and work on her sleeves and her bodice. So that we're going to start with BG 13. And we'll go up here along our neckline. And then we'll get this sleeve. Fill that in a little bit. And then same for this side. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of BG 13 over here. And then over here, and bring it around the bottom of our shirt. And let's get this band here too, as long as we got our pin out along the edge there. Oops, I'll do a little dab over here on the other side of the sleeve. Okay, next I'm going to grab BG11. And we're just going to work our way along that last color. Just soften the edge. And then BG10 to fill it in. Oh, I forgot this little ribbon down here, so let's do with our BG11 again. And grab BG10 to fill that in. I think I need to soften my sleeve a little bit here, so I'm going to grab BG11 and I'm going to go over my 13 just a little bit more just to soften it. And then BG10 to go over the whole thing one more time. For her shirt, the center of her shirt and these ruffles, let's use RV55, RV52, and V91. I'm going to start with my RV55. Let's go up here and do this ruffle on her shirt first. So we're just going to add a little bit of color down here near the bottom. And then for her shirt, I'm going to go across the top of her shirt and exaggerate these little pleats she's got right here. And then I want to bring this down next to her sleeve. Give it a little bit of a shadow. And we're going to bring this over and we're going to give some of these little bumps a little bit of definition. And for a ruffle next to the bottom, we're just going to go right next to the bottom of that green. And she's got a little bit back here that's showing underneath, so I'm going to get that. And then also for her blanket, I want to do right next to the center. And if you don't use this pin very much, you might want to pop the other end off when you're using it, just to give it a chance to pressurize and so you don't make any big blobs on there, because mine's pretty wet. I don't use that color very much. Next I'm going to go with RV52. We're just going to fill in some of our space. And just work your way back around. Then I'm going to finish it off with V91. For that I just want to go over the entire thing just to give it a little bit of purple. I was trying to tone it down a little bit. It was a little pink, and so I wanted to get a little bit of purple to match my paper. Just go over the entire area. And the same for the shirt. I'm just going to go right over the top of the entire thing. Like that. And then we also want to do these little crowns that are inside this little blanket. So for that I'm going to use my RV55 first. I'm just going to do a little dab on the bottom of each little crown. And then I want to fill them in with my RP52. And they're pretty dinky, so you gotta be careful. And I'm not stressing over it if I get a little bit on the background of her blanket. And then I'm going to take my V91 and just give each one a little dab. So I'm just kind of dotting the color on top of each crown. I'm not stressing that it's not blended out or anything. And then I want to take my BG10 and just lightly go kind of around each crown and fill in a little bit of my blanket. And I'm not worried if I didn't get all the color in there. There's some white spaces. I'm just going to leave it like that. So there is our Tilda with blue blanket all colored up. Isn't she adorable? Totally cute. And again, here is the finished card. Super wonderful. So I added some Sharpie white paint pen to her cheeks. Remember to shake that with the lid on before you put it on. And then I did some Sticko Stardust to this the sleeve of the ruffle and the bottom of her dress, and then to each of these little crowns. And that was all there was to it. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.